Did you call your mother?
I was just talking about that. My mom goes on Twitter and tells people she wants me to call her like 5 times a day, and I'm here right now. I got a thing just as I was walking up, call me ASAP, where are you? And I'm like, I can't talk. But she'll go on Twitter and she'll say, please have someone tell Adam to call me. And then people will tweet me and be like, you're a jerk, call your mom. She's the best. And they'll call her.
Is it like an emergency, or she just wants to chat?
No, she'll everything is an emergency, and then I'll call and she'll be like, I just met someone who went to high school with your brother. Do you know Jonathan Kesselheim? No, Mom. Okay. Well, what else is going on?
So she didn't influence Wendy's character at all, is what you're saying?
No, yeah, not at all. No, she's a character. Literally.
So do you see the show ever having to come into the 90s?
Never. No, I mean, initially we talked about, like, if it goes on and on, what do you do? But I did this 1980-something thing so I could have it be in the 80s forever. They're essentially like The Simpsons, where one joke will be from 1989 and the next joke is from 1981. And then I'm doing a spin-off, which we just shot yesterday, and that takes place from 1990 to 1999. So the spin-off will be in the 90s, if it sees the light of day ever, if they pick it up. And this one is from 80 to 89. Never January 1st, 1990. We're not allowed. There's been, like, tough calls. Like, I wanted Ice Ice Baby. Couldn't do it. Feels 80s. It's not. Yeah, I mean, Pump Up the Volume. We broke out a whole Pump Up the Volume episode, and I was going to have Christian Slater direct it, because I know him from the first show I did. And then we started outlining it, and then I said, is that an 80s movie? And everyone's like, oh, absolutely, it's an 80s movie. It's like January 5th, 1990. So we can't do it. All that work for nothing.
Have you read Ready Player One?
I have. I actually wrote a movie with the writer of that called Fanboys. It was like Ernie. I mean, that was like our first thing that ever got done. And I read a very early, like he sent me an early draft printout of it. It's the greatest. It's amazing.
Excited for the movie?
So excited. I can't believe it's a Spielberg movie. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So I started out with that guy, and we both are still in this 80s thing. It's crazy.
I'll live there comfortably with you.
Yeah.
Is there anything from, the 80s that you still haven't touched upon that you're dying to touch upon on the show?
Thriller. Michael Jackson in general. It's just that estate is, they're very protective. And then if they ever say yes, they'll be like, okay, fine, you can do a Thriller episode. And then they'll say, but give us like $1 million for 10 seconds of a song. And that's basically my budget for 5 seasons. So that's one that's probably Prince. I mean, there's just certain things that I would love to do, and money makes it impossible. And what's been good now is, like, we're in the 4th season, people know the show, so people are kind of reaching out now and be like, you can use, put us on the wall as a poster. Def Leppard was like, you put us everywhere. Like, that's been really cool. But a lot of the music is just, I would love to do a Prince episode. I mean, if you grew up in the 80s, like, that Prince music was, like, so huge. And the fact that it doesn't exist in this world and never can, because it's too expensive, is such a bummer.
So Bad Dance won't be in the episode?
No, I'm lucky I got clips from the actual Batman movie,
awesome.
Because it's Warner Brothers, and you have to I had to get Jack Nicholson to say yes. And he did, which was crazy. I don't know that he actually said yes. I think his group of people surrounding him were like, okay, fine. I had to write a letter, though, and talk about how Jack Nicholson's the greatest actor ever. So that helped.
Yeah. Now that you're casting childhood friends in your show, are you getting phone calls from people you went to school with?
No, it's funny. Facebook has been such a great thing, because like, if you think, like, I graduated 20 years ago, so I only keep in touch with, like, Emmy, like, a handful of friends, and everyone else are kind of, they're strangers at this point. All the teachers are strangers. Like, I knew them 20 years ago. So I send out a lot of random emails to people, like, I want to put you on the show. They all know it by now, which is great. And only 2 people have said no. One was, a classmate of mine who, like, I said to my friends, like, guess which person from my class said no, and they named it right away. So that was no surprise. It's great, nothing changed. And then there was a girl that was a really good friend of mine that I'm like, I want to make you a character on the show, and she's like, I'm so embarrassed how I behaved in high school. Absolutely not. And that was really it. Those are the 2. And everyone else is, like, excited. They know it's a sweet family show, and I'm not going to totally sell them out for a joke or something like that.
So, Adam, did you really dislike Lord of the Rings?
I did. I was so into that stuff. My oldest brother, Eric, would play Dungeons and Dragons because he was 9 years older than me. So that was, like, right in the Dungeons and Dragons time. So I was, like, familiar with that kind of fantasy. And he loved the books. And I tried to read them, and I couldn't. They were so boring and complicated. It wasn't, like, fun in any way to read those books. So I couldn't get through the first, like, I couldn't get through Fellowship. So that is completely true. And what's great is Kevin Smith has been directing episodes, and I know he shares the same dislike for Lord of the Rings that I do. It's just people walking.
So when the movies finally came out, did that make it any easier for you?
I watched the movies and thought they were long and entertaining, and then I watched the Hobbit movie, and they were, like, singing, and I'm like, I'm done, I'm out, and I never watched any of those. So it's like, I made it through the first 3. I like when the guy rode on the thing and he had the arrows. That was cool.
You never did the Rankin Bass cartoons, the 70s ones?
I never knew those. Someone on Twitter was like, how do you not know those cartoons? And I'm like, I think I hated the book so much, I was like, eh. So I read all the Star Wars books. Those are great.
Awesome.
So, Adam, how much of the show is actually based on your real life as far as the show itself?
I would say everything except the sister is... I didn't have a sister, and when I was writing the show, they weren't the Goldbergs yet. So I just evened out the cast that wanted to have a sister. I thought you could tell good stories. And then once the show got picked up, it became the Goldbergs, like, after the fact. So that's really the only thing. A lot of those stories, wanting to be a musician, that's a lot of fabrication. But we're doing a lot of stuff from my brother's life, like Erica goes to Emory and has a very interesting college experience next year. It'll totally mirror what happened with my brother Eric, and he's really pissed about it because it's completely embarrassing. And he didn't finish out the year. So it's great because you need your character to come home. So, like, there's a lot that's taken from my real life, but that's really the only, everything else is toned down. I mean, the real Beverly is a toned down version, TV Beverly.
One other question real quick is, how do you choose which episode, what you're from real life you're going to do for an episode? How do you make that decision?
It usually comes from me coming in with, like, an embarrassing memory. Like, the example I usually say is I'll come in and I'll be like, I was thinking this morning about how much I hated swim class. And, like, you're in 7th grade, and, like, you're, like, going through puberty, and there's, like, girls walking by, and, like, I didn't want to take off my shirt. And then another writer will start telling an embarrassing story, and then that will turn into a whole episode. So that's generally is me talking about some failure I had as a child, and then that'll spin into an episode.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, guys. Bye.